All right, I'm going live. This is so crazy. But yeah, I'm going live. I'm gonna show you a video that I stumbled across. And it's called How Pleasure Was Used to Control Humanity. And it's absolutely mind-blowing. I'm just gonna I'm just gonna show the video right now. Give me a second. Okay, wait. How do I do this? How do I do this? Like I need to like find okay, anyways. Let me just share the screen. This is the video. Okay, wait. All right, we're watching it now. I don't think we're gonna watch the whole video, but maybe half of it. We'll see.
Imagine a prison where people don't want to escape, a society where control doesn't come from force, but from pleasure. Aldous Huxley showed this nearly a century ago in his book Brave New World. He saw that the future wouldn't be made of chains and whips, but of endless entertainment and pleasures. The English writer understood something that few people realized at the time. Pleasure can be a more powerful weapon than pain. When people are busy having fun, they don't question anything. They don't fight. They don't protest. They don't think much about life. This is the story of how pleasure became the perfect method of control, and how we still live today inside this golden trap that Huxley described. Aldous Huxley discovered something frightening about power. Rulers no longer need to use force to control people. They can use something much more effective: constant pleasure. In Brave New World, Huxley showed a society where no one suffers, but no one really lives either. The secret lies in the anesthetization of the senses. When people are always busy with entertainment, they don't stop to think. Entertainment becomes a smokescreen that hides reality. TV series, games, parties. All of this can function like a drug that keeps the mind asleep. But here's the most clever trick. Huxley realized that pain always sparked revolts. When people suffered, they came together and fought for change. But pleasure does the opposite. It separates people, each in their own little world of personal entertainment. It's as if each person had their own golden cell.
If you think about it, if you think about it, how does society like look today? Like if you seriously think about it, like no one is even comfortable enough to like sit in silence and just think about their lives or think about, their goals because it's uncomfortable because they don't have the answers to their questions. Like the second someone wakes up, they pick up their phone to be entertained. People can't even shower without music or some type of entertainment. Like, have you seen these like, what is it called? Like, screen or phone protectors that are made to like they have like a suction cup and you put it on the wall so you can watch something while you shower. Like that is freaking crazy. You go to the toilet, use the phone, shower, you use the phone, eat, you use the phone, go on a walk. You can't even go outside without your like earphones, headphones in, and listening to something, a podcast, a YouTube, or a podcast, or music or whatever. You wake up with your phone in your hand and you go to bed with the phone in your hand. Like it's absolutely crazy. And the amount of attention that goes into the online world is enormous. But that also means that that same type of attention gets taken away. Like we put our attention into something, but that also excludes all the other things we could put our attention into. If we put all of our attention into entertainment, then we like lose the time we could put in the attention we could put into asking like ourselves essential questions of this world, the life that we live, like the meaning of life, our purpose of being here, which is like the most important thing. And yeah, I just want to say that. Anyways, let's jump back into the video because this is like what they're gonna talk about, or this is like what they're
Decorated
talking
with
about
everything they
basically.
like. The most impressive thing is that this control works because people choose it.
There's
Oh my
something
gosh.
wrong with me.
No one forces anyone to watch television for hours or stay glued to their phone. People do this because it feels good, it's easy, it's comfortable. Pleasure becomes a voluntary prison where people lock themselves in. The diabolical genius of this system is that it doesn't seem bad. On the contrary, it seems wonderful. Who doesn't want to be happy all the time? Who doesn't want to avoid pain and discomfort? But Huxley showed that this artificial happiness is actually a form of living death. The person stops growing, stops questioning, stops being truly human. And so the world's biggest factory was born. Not a factory of cars or clothes, but a factory of fake happiness. Modern society became a giant machine for producing artificial emotions. Like a factory, it takes normal people and transforms them into consumers addicted to stimuli. This process happens so subtly that most people don't even realize they're being manipulated. Think about the last time you saw an advertisement. The system works by creating desires that didn't exist before. Advertisements show happy people using products, making everyone want to have the same happiness. But when the person buys the product, the happiness doesn't last long. Soon,
See, like it's like a trap. Like it's like this false dream that you will find happiness externally outside of yourself. But have we ever like do you know someone? Okay, do you know someone personally that was like super in like the dark and just found absolute happiness and peace in something external? Like most of the times, people are like kind of low vibe, and but they think like, oh, if I just get this job, I will be so happy and live I will be on top of the world like forever. They get the job, they get happy for like a month or something, but then they start stressing about other things. Then they start stressing about like, oh, what if I lose the job, what if this and this happens, and you know and then they start looking for something else that they need to be happy, like, oh, maybe I just need to find the love of my life, maybe I just need to get like uh have children or whatever, and the cycle goes on and on and on, and it's a rat race. It's a rat race because you will never get to the finish line. You will never get to what it is that you're seeking for, which is like happiness and peace and all of that, but you won't get it from external things and all of these ads about you should buy this and this and this to be happy. Like, no. No, it's a freaking people, like, we need to realize this. We need to wake up and like escape the rat race. And the rat race, like escaping the rat race, is not quitting your 9 to 5 to like pursue like a dream business, because the rat race is mental. Like, it's mental. You're like chasing something for a specific outcome, but you like that is supposed to happen internally, but you will never get that outcome internally because it's an internal void. It's a spiritual void, and it can't be filled with materialistic stuff or external things because it's spiritual. Like, you feel it inside of you, right? It's not like outside of you, it's inside of you. So you can only solve it by going in, you know. And that's why you will never get like freedom from all these external stuff. Let's go back to the video.
Another desire appears, another product, another promise of satisfaction. Of course, not everything that gives us pleasure is bad. Watching a movie occasionally or buying something we need aren't problems. The danger is when these activities become a constant escape from reality. When the person can no longer be alone with their thoughts, when they always need some external distraction, that's when pleasure has become prison. People's emotions become shallow because they never have to deal with real difficulties. It's like a muscle that isn't used. It gets weak. When the person only feels superficial pleasures, they lose the ability to feel deeper things like compassion.
Om du dubblar index varje år
Oh
känner
my
ni lugn när
god.
börsen skakar eller inte har några som helst ambitioner på
Peace
att bli en bättre
out.
investerare.
Courage, or true love. This emotional superficiality makes people predictable. They always react the same way, seeking more pleasure when they're sad, more fun when they're bored. The system can easily control these people because it knows exactly what they'll do in each situation. Now get ready to meet Soma, the most dangerous drug that ever existed. In Huxley's book, there was a drug called Soma that solved any emotional problem. Were you sad? Take Soma. Were you anxious? Take Soma. It was the magic solution for everything. Today we don't have a pill called Soma, but we have many other things that play the same role. You've probably taken Soma today without realizing it. Social media functions as modern Soma. When the person feels lonely or insecure, they grab their phone and dive into the virtual world. There they find likes, comments, funny videos. For a few hours, the existential pain disappears. But as soon as they leave social media, the pain returns, sometimes even stronger. Pornography is...
Do you see how this kind of sounds like an addiction, like a drug addiction, like an actual drug addiction? Oh, I don't know if I can use that word or whatever. Do you hear how that sounds? Like as soon as you feel boredom, as soon as you feel uncomfortable feelings, you pick up the phone and you start scrolling to like get some type of dopamine so that the uncomfortable feeling goes away. Do you hear how that sounds like? Like you're becoming addicted to this because this becomes your escape. This becomes your escape from uncomfortable emotions, and you stop going within because it's more uncomfortable to like go within, actually ask yourself stuff, to like grow your mind and use it and think, because you have a brain for a reason and you should use it, and not just program yourself with like comedy, like I don't even know, but like stuff on TikTok, like just weird stuff that won't like be to like, it won't benefit your life in any way except that it's like cheap dopamine, and you become addicted to the dopamine, and you watch so much stuff that eventually nothing makes you happy anymore, like not even your phone. Like you can't even get happiness from the phone anymore, so you need something stronger. You need something stronger and stronger and stronger. You need more candy, you need more chips, you need more sweet stuff. I don't know, you need more entertainment, you need to do more, but nothing will ever like fully satisfy you. It will satisfy you for like a little bit until it becomes like the baseline and you become like immune to it in a way. And then you need something stronger to like give you that same type of feeling again of dopamine and stuff. It's dangerous. Like I'm telling you, it's dangerous.
Another type of Soma. It offers instant pleasure without having to deal with the complications of a real relationship. The person doesn't need to know themselves, doesn't need to grow emotionally, doesn't need to face their real
Oh
relationship.
wait.
The type of Soma. Media, the pain returns, sometimes even stronger. Pornography is another type of Soma. It offers instant pleasure without having to deal with the complications of a real relationship. The person doesn't need to know themselves, doesn't need to grow emotionally, doesn't need to face their fears. But this artificial pleasure leaves an even bigger emptiness afterward. Uncontrolled consumption also works like a drug. Buying new things gives a good temporary feeling. The person feels important, fulfilled, happy. But this happiness disappears quickly, and soon they need to buy something else to feel pleasure again. Even medications can become soma when they're used to escape from life. Of course, many people really need medicine for health problems. But when medicines are used just to avoid feeling sadness, anxiety, or any emotional discomfort, they become a way of escaping personal growth. All these modern somas.
Imagine being able to build an app
Oh
with
my,
your name
why
on
are there
it just
so
by thinking
many
about it.
ads
Meet
on this
Base
video?
44.
Have something in common. They promise to solve pain without the person needing to make any real effort to change. It's like putting a band-aid on an infected wound. The pain goes away for a while, but the problem remains there, often getting worse. But there's something even more sinister happening. There's a very thin line between wanting something and being a slave to that desire. Huxley showed how the constant promise of satisfaction transforms free people into voluntary slaves. They think they're choosing, but actually they're being chosen by their impulses. Étienne de la Boétie, an ancient French thinker,
It's a rat
wrote about
race.
voluntary servitude. He said that people often choose to be slaves because it's easier than being free. Freedom takes work, requires responsibility, is sometimes uncomfortable. Slavery, on the other hand, offers security and comfort. See if this sounds familiar. Pleasure functions as an invisible chain. The person doesn't see they're trapped because the chain is made of pleasant things. It's like an addiction to chocolate. The person knows it's bad for them, but can't stop because it tastes so good. The difference is that addiction to pleasure in general is much more subtle and socially accepted. Emotional dependence happens when the person can no longer be alone with themselves. They always need some distraction, some external stimulus. Being in silence, doing nothing, becomes torture. The person has lost the ability to find peace and joy within themselves. The most dangerous thing is that this slavery looks like freedom. The person can do everything they want. Eat, drink, have sex, buy, have fun. But they can't not do these things. When pleasure becomes mandatory, it stops being pleasure and becomes prison. And here we arrive at a terrible paradox. Excess comfort can be as dangerous as lack of it. Huxley realized that when people have everything too easy, they stop fighting for important things. It's as if freedom were a muscle. If it's not exercised, it gets weak and can even die. Look around you. Political apathy is one of the symptoms of this anesthetized freedom. When people are busy with their personal pleasures, they're not interested in what happens in society. Politicians can do whatever they want because the people are distracted with entertainment. It's easier to complain about the government from the couch at home than to go out on the street to protest. Spiritual alienation is another serious.
This is like you accept things that you wouldn't accept, but you accept, like in society, but you accept them just because you have something to escape from the feelings. Like you have, as long as you have entertainment and food, you won't really revolt. Like you won't really fight for the things that truly matter to you, because instead of fighting and working to like for a better outcome, you escape, like instead of fighting to like escape those feelings or make them disappear, you turn to entertainment to make those feelings disappear. And you scroll, you watch Netflix, this and that. And I'm not saying it's absolutely wrong to watch a movie here and there, but when you use it to escape growth, mental growth, that is when it becomes a problem. All right. Oh, let's go back to the video. I don't know, maybe we'll watch the whole one, but this live is getting kind of long. We'll see.
Problem. People stop asking life's big questions. Why am I here? What's the meaning of all this? How can I be a better person? These questions are uncomfortable, so it's easier to turn on the television and forget about them. Intellectual demobilization is perhaps the most dangerous. When the brain is always busy with superficial stimuli, it loses the
Unicef är på plats i Gaza. Och över hela Gaza så
Every
har vi
time I
näringskliniker
pause,
dit familjer
an
ability
ad
to think deeply.
comes up.
It's like eating only fast food. It satisfies hunger, but doesn't really nourish. Thinking becomes shallow, incapable of making complex connections or questioning accepted ideas. But maybe you're wondering, is there a way out?
Literally, okay, literally, by you not using your brain, you become worse at using your brain. Like, and especially with like AI, like ChatGPT, you you use your brain less and less and less for every like century, or not century, I don't know what it's called, generation, something, like every year, whatever. Like you use your brain less and less and less. First we had the like entertainment with YouTube, social media, and all you do is like consume and consume and consume. You shop, you input like just entertainment in your mind that isn't like an intellectual, um and you just watch movies, this and that. So you stop using your brain. Like you use entertainment as an escape for actually using your brain and asking essential questions about life. And then we have ChatGPT and AI introduced. So now when you actually have a question, you don't even think about the answer, what the answer might be. You don't even think about a hypothesis, whatever it's called. You go straight to ChatGPT and you write your question. And even that, like for me, I used to use ChatGPT a lot, but now I'm working on decreasing. Like if I have a question that is like, okay, I don't actually need to ask chat like for answer, I'm gonna try to like use my brain instead. But now they've even like developed freaking like phones. Like I saw an ad, it was like a sound like a phone, I don't know which phone, and they had like ChatGPT combined with like the Siri. Like you could speak your question. You don't even have to like type it. You like less and less work is being put into like I don't know, answering your questions or like whatever. You can just put like take your phone and just ask ChatGPT tells you. Or maybe you can even speak to ChatGPT already. I think you can. But it's like built into the phone. You don't even have to click like go into an app or anything. And the thing is like people, they choose the path of least resistance. So if it's easier to just ask your phone, ask ChatGPT some type of question that you're wondering, if that's easier than like thinking a little bit for yourself and actually coming to your own conclusion before you fact check it or before you ask, ChatGPT. If asking ChatGPT directly, if that is the path of least resistance, that is the path that most people are going to take. But that is also the path of self-destruction because your like your ability to think for yourself, that ability like becomes worse and worse, and you begin to like not even use your brain. Like ChatGPT thinks for you. Like whatever ChatGPT is gonna tell you, you're just gonna believe it. Whatever the news or anyone tells you, you're just gonna be like, okay, because you stopped thinking for yourself, because you stopped training that muscle. Like it's like kind of a muscle. You have to train, like you have to use your brain. The more you use your brain, the better you get at using your brain. Okay. So stop using ChatGPT for everything. It's okay if you have like, analytical questions or whatever about like, oh, how many people lives in Sweden? Like, I don't know. But don't use it too much. Okay, try to use your brain as much as possible, even if it is the slightly more the path of like more resistance or more like effort, because it takes effort to like think. But the more you use your brain, the more effortless it's gonna feel to think. Anyways, I feel like I'm screaming at the mic.
And the answer might shock you. Huxley said something very profound. Truth out. And the answer is hunger, but doesn't really nourish. Thinking becomes shallow, incapable of making complex connections or questioning accepted ideas. But maybe you're wondering, is there a way out? And the answer might shock you. Huxley said something very profound. Truth is not always comfortable. Actually, truth is almost never comfortable. It requires the person to face things about themselves and about the world that they'd rather not see. That's why most people choose to live in illusion. Illusion is like a soft blanket that protects from the cold of reality. It's comfortable, warm, familiar. Truth is like leaving home on a cold morning, unpleasant at first, but necessary to get somewhere. The problem is that many people prefer to stay in bed forever. The dilemma between the real and the pleasurable happens every day.
How long before I see results with Tai Chi?
Day 3, you'll feel
I've
your
seen,
energy.
I don't know
Day
how many
7,
times
your
I've
eyes will
seen
change. Day
this
28, you will
ad,
become
and
In
it's
small and
on
big
this
decisions.
AI.
It's more pleasurable to believe there are no problems in the world than to face difficult issues like poverty, injustice, or environmental destruction. It's more comfortable to think everything will work out by itself than to take responsibility for necessary changes. In personal life, it's also easier to pretend everything's fine than to admit problems in marriage, career, or mental health. Denial is a form of pleasure because it avoids the pain of confrontation. But this avoided pain doesn't disappear. It accumulates and can explode later in a much worse way. The choice between truth and pleasure is also an ethical choice. When the person chooses comfortable illusion, they're not just hurting themselves. They're contributing to a world where lies are more valued than honesty, where appearance matters more than essence. And this leads us to a disturbing discovery about our own bodies. The human body has always been seen as something sacred in many cultures. It was the temple of the soul, the vehicle for deep spiritual experiences. But in modern society, the body became an object of hedonistic worship. Instead of being a path to something greater, it became the final destination. This inversion of the sacred is very dangerous. When the body is treated only as a source of immediate satisfaction, it becomes a prison. The person gets trapped in their physical desires, unable to see beyond the needs of the moment. It's like living in a beautiful house, but never leaving it to explore the world outside. Jung, the famous psychologist, talked about how desires can be illusions of freedom. The person thinks they're free because they can do what they want with their body, but actually they've become a slave to their impulses. It's like a dog chasing its own tail, lots of movement, but no real progress. Arthur Schopenhauer, the German philosopher, said that desire is a source of suffering. When the person wants something, they suffer because they don't have it. When they get what they want, they suffer because soon another desire appears. And when they lose what they had, they suffer again. It's an endless cycle of dissatisfaction. But there's something even more subtle happening: the murder of silence. The constant noise of modern life isn't just external. There's an internal noise that's even more disturbing: the mental chatter that never stops. People live with their heads full of thoughts, worries, plans, fantasies. And the worst part is that much of this mental noise is fed by the constant search for stimuli. When was the last time you were in complete silence? Interior silence is the place where the deepest transformations happen. It's in silence that the person can hear their true voice, the one that knows their real needs. But to reach this silence, you need to stop feeding the mind with constant stimuli. Mystics from all traditions have always associated silence with self-knowledge. They knew it's impossible to know yourself in the middle of mental confusion. It's like trying to see the bottom of a lake while someone is throwing stones in the water. Only when the water becomes still is it possible to see clearly. Philosophers also valued silence as a path to wisdom. Socrates said that an unexamined life is not worth living. But how can you reflect if your mind never stops? How can you think deeply if you're always consuming information and entertainment? Here's a simple practice. Start with just 5 minutes a day without any stimulus. No phone, no music, no television, no book. Just you and your thoughts. At first, it will be uncomfortable, and that's exactly what makes the exercise valuable. This discomfort shows how much we depend on external distractions. And this leads us to the most concerning phenomenon of all: the transformation of
And
adults
listen,
into big children.
5 minutes. 5 minutes. It's like it's so little. If you do this, you're gonna set aside 5 minutes. If you can't do 5 minutes, then you don't have to do less, you have to do more. Like you have to do it's like meditation, right? Some people can't meditate for like 10 minutes. If you can't meditate for 10 minutes, that doesn't mean you have to do less meditation. That means you have to do more meditation. The same thing goes with this, because the more uncomfortable you get, like it's like working out. If you want to get strong, you don't work out less. you work out more with like reasonable pauses to like let your muscles heal and grow strong. But you know what I mean? If you want to have if you want to like grow your biceps, you don't and you can't like if it's hard to do like 3 reps, or actually I don't know where I'm going with this. I don't know where I'm going, but you get the point, okay? You get the point. All right, let's go back to the
Makes
video.
the exercise valuable. This discomfort shows how much we depend on external distractions. And this leads us to the most concerning phenomenon of all, the transformation of adults
Why did you stop being a vigilante?
Okay, I'm gonna
The
stop
line's crossed.
pausing the video.
I was
because I'm
raised
getting
to
out
believe
every
in
single
grace.
into big children. One of Huxley's strongest criticisms was about the infantilization of society. He saw that adults were being treated like big children, incapable of making mature decisions or dealing with frustrations. This infantilization isn't accidental. It's a very effective control strategy. Look at the people around you. Children are easy to control because they seek immediate gratification and avoid any discomfort. If you give candy to a child every time they cry, they'll learn that crying is the way to get what they want. Modern society does the same thing with adults. It offers immediate satisfactions to prevent them from crying or rebelling. Friedrich Nietzsche talked about the last man, a pathetic creature who only wants security and comfort. This last man avoids any risk, any challenge, anything that might disturb their peace of mind. They prefer a small and safe life to a big and dangerous one. Infantilization manifests in the inability to tolerate frustrations. If the Wi-Fi takes time to connect, the person gets irritated. If they have to wait in line, they despair. If someone disagrees with them on social media, they get deeply offended. It's as if every small
Do you realize how like we just get more and more impatient? It's crazy.
discomfort
crazy.
were a terrible tragedy. They get deeply offended. It's as if every
You're
small
forgetting that.
discomfort were a terrible tragedy. Infantilized adults don't question authority because they're too busy seeking immediate rewards. It's like giving a lollipop to a child to stop asking difficult questions. While people are distracted with their lollipops, entertainment, consumption, various pleasures, they don't notice what's happening around them. But wait, there's a path of resistance that can change everything. In the midst of all this manipulation through pleasure, there's a powerful form of resistance. Authentic spiritual seeking. Not consumer spirituality, full of promises of easy happiness, but the true inner journey that requires courage and discipline. Real spirituality is revolutionary because it teaches that true satisfaction doesn't come from outside. When the person discovers this, they become very difficult to control. How do you convince someone to buy happiness if they've already found happiness within themselves? How do you manipulate someone with external pleasures if they've learned to find pleasure in simplicity? Jung talked about the process of individuation, which is the path to becoming who you really are. This process requires facing dark parts of yourself, questioning limiting beliefs, going through crises and transformations. It's not comfortable at all, but it's the only path to real inner freedom. Pain, emptiness, and doubt aren't enemies of spirituality. They're teachers. Pain teaches compassion. Emptiness teaches humility. Doubt teaches us to seek deeper answers. When the person stops running from these difficult experiences and learns from them, they develop a wisdom that no artificial pleasure can offer. But not all pleasure is an enemy. There's a surprising discovery here. Not all pleasure is manipulation. There's a fundamental difference between pleasure that liberates and pleasure that enslaves. Conscious pleasure arises from presence, from genuine connection, from appreciating the simple beauty of life. It doesn't create addiction because it doesn't promise to be more than it is. The pleasure of contemplating a sunset is different from the pleasure of watching television. The first connects the person with something greater than themselves. The second disconnects them from reality. The first leaves the person more awake. The second leaves them more asleep. The first nourishes the soul. The second only distracts the mind. The pleasure of authentic human bonds is also liberating. When two people truly connect, talking deeply, sharing vulnerabilities, creating together, a type of joy emerges that doesn't depend on external stimuli. It's a pleasure born from the human capacity to love and be loved. Artistic creation is another source of conscious pleasure. When the person writes, paints, dances, sings, or creates anything that comes from the heart, they experience very deep satisfaction. It's the pleasure of giving form to their feelings, of expressing their uniqueness, of contributing beauty to the world. And now we arrive at the moment of the most important choice of all.
Like do you hear how they're making us less and less human? Like they're making us like robots without any kind of capability of thinking for themselves.
We've reached the most crucial point of this entire reflection. How do we escape this trap? How can an ordinary person free themselves from control through pleasure without becoming a monk isolated from the world? The answer isn't to reject all pleasure. That would be impossible and even harmful. The key is to develop awareness. Awareness is the ability to observe our own impulses before acting. It's creating a space between
Om du förlorar pengar som investerar i det här, varför? Känslor. Det är problemet för Charlie Munger är en av världens mest framgångsrika
desire and action, where we can consciously choose what to do. Here are some concrete practices to develop this awareness. First, practice the conscious pause. Before picking up your phone, watching television, or buying something, stop for 10 seconds and ask, why am I doing this? Am I running away from some feeling? This simple question can break the automatism that makes us slaves to impulses. Second, establish regular pleasure fasts. Once a week, choose to go without some habitual source of pleasure. Social media, music, series, sweets. This shows how much we depend on these things and strengthens our capacity for choice. It's like exercising a muscle.
It's like the monk mode. Like fast not only from food, but like from social media as well. And like entertainment that isn't like fulfilling you in any way or bringing any
The
sort
more we
of
practice, the
value.
stronger it gets. Third, cultivate pleasures that require presence, walking in nature, talking deeply with friends, reading books that challenge your thinking, learning something new. These pleasures nourish instead of draining energy, connect instead of isolating.
So you have to input information that challenges the way you think. Read books. Reading books is actually better because you don't get that like as much dopamine as if you were to watch a video. Like it's not like you can't watch videos, but you get what I'm saying.
Expand instead of diminishing. Fourth, learn to relate to discomfort differently. Instead of immediately running from sadness, anxiety, or boredom, try observing these feelings with curiosity. What are they trying to teach you? What unmet need do they reveal? Often, our discomforts are portals to self-knowledge and growth. The path of real freedom requires going through the comfort that paralyzes us. It's like leaving a heated pool to dive into the open sea. At first, it's scary and uncomfortable, but then comes the incredible feeling of being truly alive, of being in contact with forces greater than ourselves. Huxley left us a warning and an invitation. The warning: beware of pleasures that promise to solve everything without demanding anything in return. The invitation: have the courage to seek an authentic life, even if it's more challenging than artificial life. Because in the end, one real and difficult life is worth more than 1,000 fake and easy lives. The choice is ours. Continue sleeping in the comfort of illusion, or wake up to the challenging adventure of being truly human.
All right. That was the video. Okay, we watched the whole thing. But it's fine. The live is now at 38 minutes. So but yeah, it's not it's like listed or whatever you say. But I'm gonna make it public. I hope this video could bring some value. Yeah. That's it. Maybe I should like can you see the screen still? No, you can't. Okay. The YouTube channel is called the Temporal Nomad. I don't know if I pronounced that right. If you want to go into the going and watch their YouTube channel, and the YouTube, like the name of the video is the same as the name of this live. But anyways, that was it for today's little live. The quality, like ignore the quality. Okay. This is like the first live I do on YouTube, and I have no idea what I'm doing. I just really quickly set this up. Um, I don't know if it's like my computer that is kind of crap, or the Wi-Fi, or if I have to like change the software thing. But anyways, don't focus on the quality. Focus on the quality of the message and not like, you know, what's on screen. But anyways, that was it for today's videos. If you have any questions, if you have a suggestion or some video you want me to like kind of react to or anything, just let me know in the comments section if it's even possible to comment. But yeah, that's it for today's video. Ignore my English as well. But yeah, I will catch you guys in the next one.